Hey guys, Ajax22 here, and we're doing another version of the Redneck Liberator. Different flare pistol. This one wasn't cracked. Same type as before, though, the Olin 12 gauge. And same 22 caliber adapter from the last iteration. Rifling's still good on it. The basic difference was that we took and we JB welded the adapter in using JB water weld, binary epoxy putty, and then replaced all the pins, the little black plastic pins in the frame that just push out, with these machine screws from Walmart. And I'm not sure what the dimensions are. I will check and probably put it in the notes for this. Then we took some toggle bolts, 3-inch toggle bolts, and then laid them along the side, and then used the JB weld putty to incorporate those for reinforcement into a structure to give it some rigidity to the frame, so hopefully it won't have the same point of failure this time. Having the two steel pins that slightly protrude should help, and then having the JB water weld holding them together should add additional strength. That assumes that it sticks to the plastic and it holds together, but I think that, you know, cramming it in around the nuts should allow it to have something to hold on to. If I had to do it over again, I'd use longer bolts, but that's what they had at Walmart, and I wanted to keep this easy and very straightforward as to get stuff. If this fails, then we'll, you know, kick it up a notch and go over to Home Depot and see what it really takes. But yeah, this should give a pretty good proof of concept. If this is a solid improvement, then we'll try to make it more elegant on the next one. But yeah, I'm gonna let this cure for a couple of days and then take it out. I've got the high-speed camera, and we're gonna go see what happens. See how many rounds it gets through before it blows up this time. Hey guys, Ajax22 here, and we're doing round 2 of the Redneck Liberator test fire. We've got the modified Olin flare pistol, 12 gauge, with the same 22 caliber insert from last time with the rifling. We've added a 3-inch toggle bolt to the side of it, and then JB welded it with the marine epoxy, and hopefully it's gonna hold up a little better than it did last time. So ammo wise, we've got a little bit of that 22 Blazer left with some 22 short. Probably do the same progression as last time. Start with a 22 short, go to a Blazer, and then all I've got ammo-wise are these match rounds and some CCI Quiet, which I'm guessing are low powder. So we'll probably go Blazer, then to these, then to those, and we've got 150 rounds. Sorry guys, it's all I can scrounge up. Yeah, again, not in California, so California zip gun laws don't apply. Got the high-speed camera set up, and hopefully this time I'll remember to push the correct button. And not really going to test for accuracy unless we get through 100 rounds or so without it blowing up, and if that happens, then I'm going to deem it safe for actually aiming at things and seeing what happens. So well, let's get to it. Alright guys, so the first round with the 22 short appears to have an issue. I am really hoping that we didn't misalign this thing. Yeah, so try it again, see what happens. Alright guys, so that was 2 in a row of the 22 short. I'm going to switch it up to the blazer in the hopes that that's a little more sensitive. Worst case scenario is, of course, that it's misaligned. We can't do anything about the firing pin, and it just continues to misfire for the rest of the time. Second worst case scenario is we take a rock and make a fine adjustment to the firing pin of a millimeter or so that we try to get it to hit a little straighter. Not sure if it's gonna be happy with that, but since I have no tools here and we do have rock, yeah, give it a shot. If not, this could suck. All right. Well, it took 3 hammer hits, but the blazer did eventually go off. I really didn't feel anywhere near as much flex in the gun on this go around. It felt a lot more solid. Didn't auto eject, didn't really wiggle all that much, at least as far as I could tell. I am wearing a glove, so I'm a little more insulated from the firearm than I was last time, but yeah, it seems to be working. Ish. Hey guys, one thing I've been noticing is that it seems to be at least partially related to how the barrel seats when I close it. So I'm thinking that it's entirely possible that when I replaced the pins, I used a slightly undersized screw, and that might be causing it to not seat properly when I snap it shut. So it might just be a thing where I cut a corner and it's causing problems now. So I'm going to try firmly closing it with my hand before each shot now and see if we can get a little bit more reliable results. So gonna give it a shot. Well, the snapping it shut didn't seem to work, and now we're out of blazer, so I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to switch it up to the CCI quiets and see if they go off a little bit better. Still going to try closing it firmly with my hand for another 3 rounds at least. If that doesn't work, then I might actually try keeping it a little bit higher to see if we can you know, make it seat a little less, because it might be that it snaps shut, it goes down too far, the primer strikes is a little high. In fact, that might be it. One of those moments where I kind of wish I had a piece of tape, but I might take a piece of cardboard and just try to shim it under the barrel and get it up a tiny bit higher and see if we can get reliability that way. But first, 3 rounds of the blue stuff with just closing it firmly by hand. All right, on it. Alright guys, the blue stuff seems to be behaving the same as the blazer did. So what I'm doing is I took a small strip of cardboard from the box and I'm laying it up against the frame, so when it closes it keeps a little bit of forward pressure and hopefully keeps the angle slightly tilted so we'll get a better primer strike. Let's see if we can get a little more reliability with this. I'm gonna just, if this works, I'll just burn it till we try to get it to blow up or we get through this 50 rounds. So let's see what happens. Alright guys, just wanted to show you the putting the cardboard on the bottom is giving it too much of an angle. So let's see if we can yeah, see, it's not quite hitting enough of the primer. So I'm going to try doubling it up on the back plane and see if we can get enough of a angle shift to make this work. But not enough to make it miss the cartridge entirely. Alright. One thing to keep in mind, some of the misfires I've been having have been from the cardboard sliding up while I was loading a little quickly, and the firing pin blocking the actual, or the cardboard blocking the firing pin from striking the rim. So masking tape would have fixed this in a more permanent fashion, so I'll just have to be a little more careful when I'm loading that the little bit of cardboard doesn't start riding up. That said, I'm not feeling or noticing any damage to the firearm at all here, so it's doing pretty good. I think we might have actually have a somewhat viable thing once the tuning is done. Alright, back to it. Alright guys, we're gonna start shooting this normally because, you know, it's not blowing up. Alrighty. You'll notice that the just falls out of the chamber. It's a little loose. But it isn't bulging the base at all. It's not causing problems. The little bit of cardboard's pretty stuck in there now. It's not horribly inaccurate. You know, bullet goes in the general direction you're pointing it. Although it is kind of hard to aim using a camera, because the camera is between me and the gun, so the floating action is somewhat difficult. But yeah, I think we got this one cracked. Pretty cool. A couple of things I wish I'd done a little differently. As far as the using the correct size pins. You know, if I was going to do this in a non-improvised setting, I would turn the hinge pin for the gun on a lathe and make it actually fit, or, you know, barring that, actually take it to like Home Depot and get the proper size pin so that it's not, you know, a little bit sloppy. That alone probably would solve a lot of the problems. And then I probably would do an alignment on the, or do a different alignment of the adapter to the flare gun. So that would probably help solve the misfiring issue. And then barring that, even if we'd done everything exactly the same, we would probably be better suited by bringing some masking tape instead of cardboard that we have to lick off the, or tear off the cartridge case. When you're not aiming using the camera, it becomes a lot easier to actually hit things. Or hit dangerously close to things. I mean, this would definitely hit, you know, minute of person at 5-10 feet. Of course, you know, get one of those misfires, things become problematic real fast. Well, that's all 50 of the blue ones. Still no damage to the gun. Just getting dirty, but holding up real good. Anyway, gonna switch to the red ones now and shoot another 50 of those. And if it doesn't blow up at that point, you know, we'll do one more inspection. I don't really feel like firing 150 rounds. If there's no damage by 100, it's not going to blow up, and we've got something good. I'm just going to start screwing around and seeing what I can hit with it by actually shooting. So, alright guys, this is the last round that I've got on me. Completely out of 22 short. This thing's just been eating them up. Managed to shim it with a little bit of cardboard here, which seems to be holding, and a lot easier to close on it consistently. Long term, it's going to need some sort of adjustment. That's, you know, subject for another video now that we've proven this is a viable concept. So yeah, this is round 175-ish. Bang. We'll do a closer inspection back at the office, but I think we're going to call this one a winner. Alright. Hey guys, we're back at the office and have the Redneck Liberator Part 2 here to go over. Yeah, it held up perfectly. I can't see any significant wear. It's dirty, but there are no cracks forming in the epoxy. One of the grips got a little loose, but to be expected. We wound up shimming the barrel here with a tiny little bit of that cardboard, and it seems to work all right. I think since this is still a viable firearm with rifling and it goes bang every time, I'm probably going to wind up painting this black and replacing that cardboard with some electrical tape to make a more proper shim. Of course, you know, make it tactical with that black paint. But yeah, there's nothing's getting looser. Still holding up. A lot of unburnt powder. This is a very short barrel. If I had to do this over again, I'd probably start from scratch for the adapter and make it longer. Develop a little more muzzle velocity. And there's really no reason why it can't stick out. Maybe 4 inches or so. But yeah, for what it is, I'm kind of surprised at how well the epoxy held up. We fired at least 175 rounds through it. Probably, you know, 20 rounds of 22 short, 100 rounds of that red stuff, 50 rounds of that blue stuff, which I'm spacing on the brands, and then a random number of Blazer that we had kicking around. But it held up. You know, had a few misfires. Most of that is a result of the misalignment of the firing pin relative to the 22 adapter, which I think long term, maybe even making the shim go away and just bending the firing pin a little bit to make it hit in the right spot might be a better option. But it's a viable firearm. You know, 175 rounds with no significant issues. You know, means it'll do another 175 rounds, which means it'll probably do another 500 rounds, which means, you know, I don't see this thing failing anytime soon. So it works. I guess this one's viable. Yeah, it's not even separating. It's really bonded to that plastic pretty well. Kind of surprised since I didn't clean it at all or do any surface prep. Just you know, grab the stuff from Walmart and throw it on there. Another thing that I've noticed is, unlike last time, because with the frame's not stretching, we haven't had much, if any, deformation of any of the shells. They're swelling a little bit, but that's due to the looser, this adapter has a fairly loose chamber. The lower pressure rounds would actually fall out when you'd flip them over. The red stuff was a little higher, so it actually swells the casing and sticks, which meant that we had to use a tactical stick as an ejector rod, something that I would you know, remake out of metal or fiberglass, or just bring a piece of coat hanger wire or something. Something that if you're holding it in your mouth while running the camera and the gun, doesn't taste like a nasty, you know, twig. Because, you know, that happens. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this, and we'll try to do a couple of adjustments to the design for the next one. Maybe make it a little more aesthetically pleasing. But this works. Goes bang every time once you've dialed it in, and does not blow up. So I guess the question is now a combination of how do we up the muzzle velocity a little bit, get a little more penetration, which seems to be a straightforward factor of longer barrel, or using a different caliber adapter. I think if we did a 38 Smith & Wesson, it would work just fine. That's a suspicion on my part, based entirely on wild guesses. Don't try that one at home until after we've, you know, test fired it and seen if it blows up. But 38 Smith & Wesson is a pretty low pressure round and might actually hold up. So, hope you've enjoyed this, and share it with your friends, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks. Having way too much fun with this.